Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And now, my big question of today is also the subject of today, and that is, do you think or expect crypto to make you a millionaire? I want you guys to answer that question down in the comment section below, and let's talk about that today. So I got a lot of articles open and a lot of websites open to kind of relate to all of this because I think it's a question everybody has once thought about, but really a lot of people don't know the answer to. And that means you would most likely want crypto to make you a millionaire, but do you expect it, right? And how much money should you have? And is it really possible? Is it possible with XRP or with other crypto or what? And today, I want to dive a little bit deeper into exactly that. And to start off, I must recommend you all to check through my retirement plan and also help me write a better version. Because this is, I think, V2, but I still need to get it to like V6 or whatever. Because last time I added something here was April 22nd. But I still think I have a lot to add. I have a lot to change in all of this. And I think it could be a very crazy document if we all decided to work together. But to kind of help and not only need this article, I added a couple of other resources which we'll talk about and get into today to get a bigger picture of exactly what is and what is not possible. So to start off, it all depends on what your current situation is and what your goals are. Now, in this case here, we're not talking about retiring, but we're talking about becoming a millionaire. I personally see it as kind of the same thing because theoretically speaking, following my strategy, you could, in any country in the world, retire with $1 million. I explained it before. It's really possible for everybody. And for you to say now to me, oh, you can't retire with $1 million, fine. You do you. I know it's possible, and I have a strategy on how it works and what you have to do. But I've explained that in different videos. Today, we're just talking about getting to that $1 million point because that's still a very important step. Now, this first discussion is about that everybody in the world, if they were all have some XRP, you would have 12.5 XRP per person if the full supply was given out. And a fun fact about that is, if you hold more than 12.5, or if you hold more than 25, whatever, there will always be a person with less XRP than you, which is really interesting to think about considering anybody right now could buy themselves 12 or 20 XRP. All right. Discussion point. What if XRP is so successful and tons of coins are being burned and the rest is permanently held? That's something you can think about as well, but is not the topic of today. All right. The big points of today are basically your XRP price prediction and the amount of XRP you will be able to hold at any point. And now you might be wondering but I don't know my price prediction. I don't know my amount of XRP. Well, let's take a little bit of a look at what it takes to be a millionaire because, even if you have your XRP price prediction and you have your amount, that still might not make you a millionaire, right? Or what? And we could calculate it all, but let's see first. Here is an article on entrepreneur.com which says 8 tips to become a millionaire this year. Because even if you think XRP is going to go to $10 a coin, you're still going to need yourself 100,000 XRP to get there, which is quite a lot. So we also have to talk about how are you going to get those coins? How are you going to get those coins? How are you going to afford them all? Here's 8 tips. Develop a written financial plan. I think it speaks for itself exactly what that entails. The basic point I want to stress about these 2 inputs is that they are absolutely fundamental to all financial planning. It's just the whole planning situation about how much money you have and how much money you spend. That's, of course, one of the basics in accumulating more crypto or investing more. It's to get straight into one line exactly how much you spend, how much you got, and just having a strong financial plan. Second, focus on increasing your income. In today's economic environment, you cannot save your way to a millionaire status. And one of the fun things I want to kind of talk to you guys in that sense is, let's say, for example, you were a very good businessman, right? You've been working under a boss, but you've been very, very good in the sales department. And, the boss is like, you know what? You earn me $10 million a day, whatever. You get $180,000 a day, whatever. And, you've been working in the sales department since Jesus Christ was born or whatever. Just let's go from the year 0. Just 00, exactly that point. You've been working from then till now, so that's a very long time. You've been earning yourself $180,000 a day. So to put that into perspective here is, let's get rid of one, $180,000 a day for 365 days a year. You have been doing that for the last, how long? Let's do 20 years, so 2020. And you can see that's about $132 billion. Fun fact is that I don't know exactly at this point, but I think that is not even enough to beat Jeff Bezos. Which kind of puts into perspective, if you have a salary, and in this case here, it's $180,000 a day, which is more than any of us have, all right? Because that's just ridiculously crazy. If you have $180,000 a day, and you've been having that for the last 2,000 years, you would still not have more than Jeff Bezos, or of kind of just be close to his wealth, which is really, really crazy to think about. Really, really, really crazy. Of course, we're going to talk about inflation, all that type of stuff, but this is just nominal. You know, the fun way to calculate things. Otherwise, it's going to get a little bit nasty, but you guys get it. It's just to show again that just working there every single day, getting yourself some money every month, is not going to get you to the point where you really, really want to get to. All right, maybe you don't want to be as rich as Bezos, but with the normal 9 to 5, you're not going to get there anyway. Now, for a lot of us, it's not about getting as rich as that, because who needs it, right? You want to become financially free. So, of course, these goals are a little bit less severe, but still a very important part is just have some side hustles, have some things which you can do on the side and, next to your working for right now. Because really, in my opinion, the biggest goal at this point is not to ever become a millionaire, but it's really to get financially free as soon as possible. And if you become a millionaire in 15 years, but you're already financially free, in 3 years, yeah, that's the real spirit. And at least my advice to people, which is not financial advice, but pure, fun advice or personal advice, whatever, is to just really work a little bit harder than the rest at this point right now. Just work some extra overtime so you can be free for hopefully as many more years, because who wants to work for 45 years and then be retired for 20, right? Who wants that? Nobody. Take advantage of Uncle Sam's generosity. The best way to know how to become a millionaire is to put the power of compound interest on your side. By giving your money more time to compound and keeping your rate of return as high as possible, you greatly increase your chances of reaching a 7-figure net worth, Brian Fedoli told The Motley Fool. Of course, earning a high return on your nest egg is easier said than done, as many factors to create that return are outside of your control. However, all investors do have control over 2 huge factors that can put a serious drag on long-term returns: investment cost and taxes. If you want to become a millionaire, focus on keeping both as low as possible. And my personal advice goes there as well. Make sure you always arrange your taxes well. I mean, if you work in 9 to 5, there's a good chance that, you don't have to pay a lot of extra taxes yourself, right? Because I think that's all being done automatically if you work for an employer. But if you're, self-employed or you have some side hustles there, make sure you arrange it so that your taxes become as low as possible. Especially if you have a mortgage going on as well, there are tons of ways to make your life a little bit simpler by using some tax benefits. And it's something really worth looking into, because it might save you hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars each month or year, which again might add up to this million that we are talking about. And again, if you're wondering, the reason I'm showing you all of this is because these are the fundamentals which can be used for, this plan to really get to that million. Because relying on just a certain amount of coins and a certain amount of price is fun and all, but you still need those coins, and these are some tips to get those. Increase your streams of income. So of course, one part about it is try to get your income higher, right? But that's not as easy as it sounds. The more important part is try getting a few other income streams. And I see a lot of people getting into just, for example, buying and selling things online, but there are tons of things. And one of the things I'm going to be doing a little bit later in like a couple of months is rolling out an Instagram course to really make a couple of really, really good bucks on Instagram, and possibly a YouTube course as well. Not for news like this, but just for niche channels, because it works like a charm. You can earn a ton of money on those. I've been doing it for years now. It works like a charm. And I'm still debating on whether or not I should give it, free to a couple of you guys because I really want you to be successful, or if I should just sell it because, well, it's stuff that can most likely earn you way more than what you have to pay for it. I don't know. And of course, since I'm talking about earning income, it would be kind of stupid, right? But I'm thinking about that still because I want to give as much back as I can. However, you always got to think about the bigger situation with it all. If I'm giving it away for free, people are not going to value it as heavy either, which is something to think about. because it's going to take me hours upon hours upon hours to make. I want it to be good. I want it to be perfect if I ever roll it out. But basically, the point of that is, at first, when I was just normally working, at least, I noticed, you're earning some money, but it's never going to get you there. And one of the things I decided to do was just work on my Instagram and really, really grow that. I grew tons of accounts, and I noticed this earns so much more money for just posting and doing nothing than going to my work every single day. And yeah, well, once I started to get the hang of how this online money worked, it was just such an easy transition. But the biggest part is just starting it out, trying it, and having the dedication to work those possibly thousands of hours without profit first, right? Which is the hard part and the difficult part to discover, especially if you're not that keen on the internet for extra money. Maybe you like working with your hands. It might be a little bit more difficult, but maybe just look into stuff that you can do on the side here to earn as much as possible, to invest as much as possible at this younger age. Even if you're 75, doesn't matter, right? At this younger age, because you are going to get older, everybody is, you want to get as much as possible done. Again, maybe if you're already retired and you're thinking about becoming a millionaire, don't sweat it too much, because in that case, you're already free, right? You're already free in the sense of you don't have to go to work anymore, so the struggle is a little bit less there. If you're already over the retirement age, I would just recommend, again, you're listening to a younger dude because I'm not 75 just quite yet, but my personal advice would be to just stay invested, keep investing, and like Warren Buffett, just get rich slow. Just take it the easy route with the compound interest, possibly with some dividend stock and whatnot. Go for a little bit of the safer route because you're already a little bit older, and it would maybe be heartbreaking to see a big dent in your portfolio like you can see with crypto. Having said that, automate your savings. Make sure you always put in a 401k or have an emergency fund and a couple other things related. I've always talked to you guys about that. Make sure you have 6 months at least worth of expenses saved up, preferably 12 months. And, just my family here and a couple of relatives and a couple of people I know, they really thanked me to death for that because I told them all to do it. All right, I really demanded them all to do it. I just mandated them to do so. That was about 1.5 years ago. They saved up. They got it, at least most of them. And now CV came around, right? Some of my friends were without income for 3 months. Yeah, they thank me to death. And that's, again, something you got to think about as well. Save it up, just because even if you are a millionaire or you want to get to a millionaire, you might be investing all your money. You might just be messed up at one point, which you might need it for. Upgrade your skills and knowledge. Learn something every single day. Here they're saying read at least 30 minutes a day. I would say just try as much free time as you have to do something useful for your own personal development. Maybe read some. Oh, I got the hiccups. Maybe read something, or maybe watch a YouTube video on something, just so you learn something, so you can possibly make money out of it, or teach somebody else something. Because I always think the amount of value you provide is really what decides your worth, right? Like I always say with XRP and with VeChain. But it's also for yourself, right? The more knowledge you have, the more people's lives you can possibly change with that knowledge as well, which also might up your own value to society and just value as a whole. Live below your means and lay off credit. Lay off the credit. Well, 1 or 2 things on that is get out of the debt ASAP. Whatever debt you have, try to do that as soon as possible and then start talking about $1 million. But get rid of debt first. And if you got to, live below your means for the next 3 years or so, right? If you can do it, could be amazing, could be life-changing, the amount of money you could get out of the debt by just a couple years of really living below it. Maybe you're spending $1,500 a month right now. And what if you just spend $1,000 a month? I know I'm talking about extra, right? Not about your normal expenses, but the ones that are for rent and whatnot, but I'm talking about extra things. If you lower that by $500 a month, it could be huge if you compound that. Just trust me on that. And associate with millionaires. This one is the most difficult, but it's to try and find people that are already there or that are richer to see what they've done and get some tips. I'm trying that as much as possible, but it's hard to find. It's very, very hard to find. All right, now getting back into the plan. If you've already gotten into some steps to increase your income and you're already getting yourself a stable amount of coins or crypto, or you're investing a stable amount, it's basically just about 2 things, which is the amount of XRP, if we're talking about XRP, $1 million, that you can accumulate in this period of time, and the price you think is going to get to. And just for the ease, just make a little bit of a calculator like this. Here are my 3 formulas: C2 times C3, C8 divided by C9, and C14 divided by C15. This is C, of course, and This is 2, 3. You guys get it? It's pretty simple to make. And basically what it is you fill in these orange things like the amount of XRP you think you'll have. Let's say, for example, you think you'll have 10,000, and the price you think XRP will get to is 100. Well, boom, you got yourself your $1 million. Same for if you want to get to $1 million, like said, and you think the XRP price is going to get to about 7 point. What do we need to do? Comma 98. That's what you think it's going to get to. You're going to need 125,000 coins to get to $1 million. Or if you know you want to get $1 million, and you also know your XRP that you're about to have, which is going to be 56,751, just for the fun of it. Well, the XRP price needs to get to $17.62 to get to $1 million. You guys get it? It's very, very simple how it works. But those three things, actually in this case two, are the most important to think about. How many coins can you accumulate, and what do you think it will get to? I can't decide what it will get to for you, because it's really just what you believe in, and that's also going to decide when you'll be a millionaire. But to question whether or not it's possible, we need to look at something else. And I think it's easiest to just look at, I think I messed up here by not having TradingView open in the correct sense. Let's reload it real quick. Let's see if I can get it going. Yeah, there we go. All right, the easiest way to do that is by just looking at a chart like this. And if you put it to percentage at the bottom here, you'll see the percentage from the start, right? Or you'll see the percentages. Look at what it got you right here. About 60 or 36,000%, meaning your $1 got to about $370. So that means for every $1, it turned to about 370, so $1 million. At least that's how I always calculate this type of stuff. If it's wrong, put it in the comment section down below. Divided by 370-ish. Would have been, you needed $2,700 to become a millionaire. At least that's how I always see it. Because if you had 2,700, what it did was times, it went times about 36.5 plus 1. That's about 37-ish. Yeah. It's about 365. Oh, sorry, 365.2 plus 1 is about 366, but about 370 is also doing the job, which means you need about $2,700 to start off, which is ridiculously crazy, guys, if you think about it. But again, these gains that happened here, they might not be as crazy as happened, but that's what some think. I would personally say it's going to happen again, and eventually crypto will go by 36,000% again. It's just a matter of time, but that would mean that if you have $2,700 in XRP right now, and to put that into perspective, let's quickly check. $2,700 in XRP is about 13,000 XRP right now. You could already got there. You could already get there. However, let's say it's not going to do 36, but about half of that, possibly just 18,000%, which is still a huge amount. 1,800%, which is still a huge amount, but still possible. Or no, 18,000. I mean, yes. 18,000%. Well, you can already guess where it will get to. And by the way, I don't know if this is exactly the point where it got to, by the way. I'm just telling here just for good measure. It could be that it got to a little bit of a different percentage, but I'm assuming it's about 36,000. Yeah, 36.5. There we go. What I would say is, what if it got to only 18,000, about half of the peak? Well, you would need about twice as much XRP, which in this case would be about $5,400 US, 26,500 XRP. You could just relate it forward and on and on. And if I made any mistake here, make sure you put it in the comment section down below so others can see. Just to give you guys a little bit of an idea on how I look at all of this type of stuff, right? And how I see the gains will be realized and what could be happening and what could be going on. That's the way I see it because, well, I think it's all pretty bloomy. I think it's all pretty positive. Because with the astronomical gains that could be happening in crypto, a lot of doors have opened and are opening once more. One of the questions I saw a lot of people ask is, what about taxes though? Well, it just depends on what country you live in, and I don't really know how to help you with that. Because if you live in the Netherlands, it will most likely work quite a lot different from if you live in the US. But a lot will fall under capital gain tax. And that's nothing. So I don't really care about taxes too much in that sense. The only hard part is possibly, if to a certain degree it becomes income tax, or if you're officially trading it and you're making it income tax, but it doesn't have to be. All right, it could also be capital gains tax, which is about 0.5% or so a year, which nobody really cares about. So that's going to be fine. You don't have to really worry. But also make sure you arrange those things well. But if you're wondering, is it possible to become a millionaire? Well, is it possible for you to get yourself, how much were we talking about just now? If it's possible for you to get yourself $5,000 in crypto at one point, I think it's really, theoretically speaking, possible for anybody. I think this 26,000 XRP, let's check it out here, because it's still a little bit crazy. I know, it's a little bit crazy, but let's see here. The amount of XRP, let's put it at 20, oh no, the retirement and the amount of XRP here, at 27,000. All we would need is a $37 price for XRP. Is it possible? Yes. Is it far-fetched? Maybe a little, but you guys get it. It's possible in the future. And thus, realistically speaking, I think it's really, really doable. There's no max for XRP price. There's no max that I see in the future. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And no harm was meant with any of this. So hopefully nobody takes this the wrong way, as I just want to give good vibes and just get you guys to start working on what you really want, which in this case would be to become a millionaire.